so that they can be the persons who will bring to this community what is needed. And as we listen tonight, oh God, we ask that you also give us the wisdom to choose the right person for the job. Let us leave here knowing, God, that you are in charge. There is no other like you. There is none greater than you. Let us leave here, God, going out into our communities, ready to serve you in the way that you have called each and every one of us individually and collectively to be our brothers and sisters keeper. We thank you for this space. We thank you for our pastor, so that we can use this space to glorify you in the way that you want us to glorify you. And when we leave here, God, may we leave here and allow ourselves to be a blessing to someone else, even as you continue to bless us in the midst of everything that is going on in the world around us. Let us always remember to give praise and thanks to the Most High God by whatever name you call God. Ashe and amen.
I will now call Sister Renee Kale from the Chase organization.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening to our candidates. I wish you all the best as we strive to build a better Stonecrest. I know everybody has busy schedules. I'm very honored to stand before you as we introduce our moderator for this evening. We would like to introduce to you Lance Hammonds, commercial realtor, community activist. He's a 38-year resident of DeKalb County, and he's an accomplished community organizer. Mr. Hammonds believes in the power of a unified community and that it can transform itself. He is married to Dr. Frida Hammonds. They have grown children and 7 awesome grandchildren. He graduated from the Keller Graduate School of Management and the University of Redlands. That's where he obtained his bachelor's degree. He gained experience at the S.L. King and Associates. He was vice president of marketing and government relations. He also worked with Caldwell Banker as a realtor. Norfalco, a Glencore company, he was a commodity sales and marketing agent. His community engagement was with NAACP, DeKalb County. He is the past president. The Rockbridge Coalition, he was chairperson. DeKalb Charter Review Commissioner, DeKalb Transit Master Plan, and also a deacon at the Voices of Faith Church. Mr. Hammond's vision as a community activist, he is a community activist that believes in the power of an engaged community that can transform itself, working to make DeKalb the destination choice for diverse families. The work, NAACP DeKalb president, he fought for inequalities and fought against racial hatred, reviewing the DeKalb Organizational Act to better serve the people, DeKalb Transit Master Plan Citizens Advisory to improve the transit system, and as you all know, it does need to be improved. DeKalb School Volunteer Policy to improve community involvement. Mr. Hammonds organized 8,500 households with the Rockbridge Coalition. So I am grateful that Mr. Hammonds will be our moderator. I'm grateful for our candidates for office as we continue to try to build and make Stonecrest the best city in this country, actually in the world. So give yourselves an applause for coming, and I thank all of you. One thing I wanted to mention, next year, Mr. Hammonds will be running for the DeKalb Commission, District 4. So keep that in mind.
You guys can clap to that. Well, good evening, everyone. Okay, let's forums are supposed to be fun, so let's kind of get a little energy going here. Let's get a good, rousing good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. That's the way we get it here, because we're going to have some fun tonight. And really, you guys have heard this before. Municipal elections are important. All elections are important. And you should be very impressed and proud that you're all here tonight to participate in your city's government. And this is really where it starts at. So we're going to get into this. Before I get started, I want to ask, are there any elected officials in the audience? If you're an elected official in the audience, would you please stand? State, council. Okay, that's Ms. Angela Moore. Thank you for coming out. Is there anyone else? An elected official? This is your last chance. Elected officials never miss an opportunity to say hello. So what we're going to do tonight, we have a group of candidates here, and we're going to ask questions, and we're going to get through this and have a little fun with it. So some of the house rules, okay, it was mentioned a little bit earlier that we are in a church, so candidates and audience are expected to address each other in a courteous and respectful manner. God is always watching. The candidates must be mindful of your time. Our timekeeper, Tyra, wave your hand. There she is. And would you hold up that red sheet right there? Candidates, when you see that red sheet, that means you need to stop, okay? What does red mean? Very good, very good. As we go through this, candidates, if you have a rebuttal for us, just raise your hand, and you'll have 30 seconds to rebut any question. And if time permits, we'll have questions from the audience. So what we're going to do here is that candidates, you have 1 minute for your opening statement, 2 minutes for your closing statement. You'll have 1.5 minutes to answer the question. And when we get into the audience participation, you'll have a minute to answer their questions. Again, rebuttals, you got to raise your hand. We'll recognize you, and you'll have 30 seconds. So the way we're going to run this is everybody's going to get the same questions kind of at the same time. So we're going to go across the front and then back around and across the front. So candidates, when you introduce yourself, tell all the good stuff about you, what office you're running for, so everybody can keep track of where you are and who you are and what you're doing. So let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to start with a really easy question, and we're going to start at the front row with Dr. Adama. The first question is, how would you explain the meaning of the oath of office? You're right. Ms. Diane, opening statements.
Good evening, Stonecrest. I'm Diane Adoma, and I'm offering myself to serve as your next mayor. My 25-plus years of work experience, my level of professionalism, and my integrity clearly distinguishes me from most leaders. As your next mayor, I will bring in shops and restaurants. This evening, my niece flew in from Dallas to listen to me, and we didn't find anywhere in Stonecrest where we could get a great steak. So what I want to do is bring shops and restaurants and thriving businesses back into Stonecrest. As a businesswoman myself, I can assure you that the most important way to do that would be to engage you every step of the way. That is how we're going to rebuild this city and make you proud to come home to Stonecrest. My name is Diana Adoma, and it would be a pleasure to have your vote on Election Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Smith.
Good evening, you all. My name is Bernard Smith. It's time I told you guys what this vision of Stonecrest is all about that I've been preaching about. God has given me it's a city of no more killing and murder, because we make it a hate crime to possess a lethal bullet here in Stonecrest. We'll be banned in this city. We'll be banned in we'll be the first in the nation to take on real gun reform, something nobody in the nation has the guts to do. fix our schools and teach our youth and parents how to be better parents and hold them accountable for their children's bad grades and poor reinforcement at home with our challenge program. Before any of that gets done, I'll rid this city of the name of Stonecrest, which has been nothing but failure and with essential corruption in its inception from our current mayor, which you'll soon learn more about. The city of Stonecrest will be laid to rest. God has told me to change the city of the name to Zion, which is biblical, a city of valor and hope, a holy city. One thing God loves to do in the middle of chaos and dysfunction.
Mr. Smith?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you, sir. One more time, I'm going to ask everyone to just take a moment and silence your cell phones because this is being recorded. So we want a nice, clean recording. So if you would take a moment and silence your cell phones. And if your cell phone rings again, you'll have to stand up and sing a song. So silence your cell phones. Okay, Mr. Frazier.
Good evening, Stonecrest. My name is Kirby Frazier, and I'm seeking the office of mayor of the city of Stonecrest. Now, I'm an Army veteran. I finished out in 2002. People want to know what I did in the military. I don't like to talk about it, but we did that thing. We served the country. A lot of the veterans don't like to talk about it. But I want to let you know we served honorably. Just a little bit about myself, give you an idea why I'm seeking this office of mayor. I understand the city of Stonecrest has always been problematic from inception. And I understand where we are today. Now, if you're looking for a strong leader to come in, help you get the city back on track, I'm talking about bringing some economic development, look at the affordable housing situation, get some guiding leadership in the city hall. I'm your man. I'm going to do it in no nonsense way. I'm going to be respectful. My daughter said, be careful, Dad. Make sure you get up here and shave your ears. You don't keep hearing your ear. That's for Joe. And I tell her I do that sometimes because I'm rushing. I want to get my thoughts together and I'm thinking while I'm sitting there shaving. But ladies and gentlemen, if you elect me mayor, I guarantee you the city will change. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Frazier. Ms. Lohman.
Good evening, Stonecrest. My name is Daylay Lohman, and I am running to be the next mayor of the city of Stonecrest. I'm running to help us establish a well-run, stable community where every citizen has the ability to thrive. Not only have I been endorsed by Fair Fight, Georgia, I bring 30 years of city and county government experience at the management and executive level, and most recently in a legislative leadership capacity as the immediate past chair of the DeKalb Board of Registration and Elections. Here's my simple ask of you this evening, that for the first time in our city's existence, you put an expert in charge of our city. Leading local government is not the same as working for state government, is not the same as any other job. It requires a particular set of knowledge and skills that are necessary for us to build a cohesive and thriving community. And I'm asking you to give me your vote so that I can help us do just that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Mr. George Turner. He's trying to make sure the mic works.
Good evening. Again, my name is George Turner. I've lived in this neighborhood for over 35 years. And during that time, I found myself working to stop unwanted development. I worked with the PTA, I worked with the little leaguers in terms of providing something for our youth to do. When the city came about, I was very, very grateful to be elected to serve on the city council. And the city council elected me as mayor pro tem. And as mayor pro tem, I get to set the agenda and chair the meeting. And what I can see that has happened over the last 6 years is growth. Yeah, we've had a few bumps, but we are laying a foundation, and that's not an easy ask. And I believe that foundation is strong, city is headed in the right direction, and I ask for your support to continue the work that we're doing with standing up the city of Stonecrest. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Malika? Ms. Wells?
There we go. Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Oh, yeah. My name is Malika Wells. I am your candidate for Stonecrest City Council District 4. I am here to represent a fresh start for District 4. I am your candidate for accessible, responsive, and proactive leadership. I am the candidate who's going to see you, connect with you, listen to you, and make sure that you are fully represented and heard in the goings-on and the decision-making process for District 4. I am the candidate who's going to deliver on the more in store for District 4. We have not seen all that we should, and if you vote for me, we will. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wells. Ms. Hall?
My name is Belinda Hull, and I am a candidate running for Stonecrest City Council District 2. I am running for City Council to restore what has been lost and to put us back on the road to becoming a world-class city. I believe our young city is at a crucial tipping point. It has a lot at stake. I believe that we must listen to our residents, invest in our seniors, inspire our youth, smart economic development by supporting existing businesses and attracting new businesses. We cannot afford to let businesses like Arizona close down or leave. We can position to do what the city was designed to do, and that is to succeed. So November the 7th, I would be honored to receive your vote to serve as your next city councilwoman. Log in to belindaforstonecrest.com and vote for me, Belinda Hull. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. Mr. Fay?
It's Phi, like you're
Phi.
terrified.
Phi, certified. Gotcha, thank you.
Sir Phi, I'm being knighted. Thank you. All right, good evening, Stonecrest.
Good evening.
My name's Terry Phi. I'm a candidate for Stonecrest City Council District 2. And I've called the city home since I was 13 years old. I'm an alumni of Miller Grove High School, and I'm here to do something called RFIS. I'm here to restore faith in Stonecrest. I'm here to work to make sure that, again, we're keeping our government transparent by bringing back that community, boots on the ground, transparent and on the ground investment with our neighbors and our community leaders. I want to make sure that we're fighting to keep our city safe and fighting for public safety enhancements and measures, and overall making sure that we're fighting to increase your quality of life in the city. So I can't wait to talk to you guys about how I plan on restoring faith in Stonecrest, and thank you all for being here.
Thank you, candidates, for your opening statements. Now we're going to get into some questions here. You guys ready? All right. Let's go back to that really easy one I was going to start with a while back. And we're going to start with Dr. Adama again. How would you explain the meaning of the oath of office? And you have 1.5 minutes to do that.
Thank you. Actually, I'm the only candidate here today who can say that they have elected official experience as well as business experience. I've actually been sworn in, so I know exactly what that oath means. I actually have a track record. You can just Google me now and look at any of the city videos, and you can see my track record for integrity. You can see my track record for making sure that your money was managed well when I served. You can see my track record for fighting to make sure that a cell phone tower was not located near a school and a church. You can see my track record when I designed and wrote legislation for a youth council, and all these things were voted down. So integrity is what that oath meant to me. Integrity is doing the right thing, my mother used to say, when nobody's watching. Your money is important. I would never spend $600,000 on personal security on non-certified police officers. Why? Because a street light costs $1,350. I could have gotten you 300 of them for that. On November 7th, You have to choose the right candidate. I'm the only one who's day one ready, who don't have to go through the elected official training, who don't have to learn what's happening and what's going on in the city, who don't have to be told to be a person of integrity and ethics. I'm the only one that can take this city where it needs to be in a short period of time. This race, you need to vote like your life depends on it, because it does. If we don't get it right this third time, we won't ever get it right. Thank you. My name is Diana Doma, and I'd like to be your next mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Smith, same question. The meaning of the oath of office.
Meaning of the oath of office. To me, that means that you're going to say what you're going to do, and you're going to do it, and you're going to take the oath to do that, just what you said you want to do. I vow, when I become your mayor of Stonecrest, to change this city. From the city that it is now, city of corruption, city with a stench on it. The name of Stonecrest is nothing to laugh at. People look at us in the news and they say Stonecrest is a joke. I'm trying to change all that around. I'm not going to just start by changing the name of city to Zion, which is the vision that God has given me as a prophet. That's what he tells me to do. I'm going to do exactly what he tells me to do. I'm going to change the crime here in the city. I'm going to double the size of our police force and triple it my 4th year. We're going to have enough officers to police the city. That's why the crime is running back, rampant the way it is now. I'm also going to change our schools with the challenge program. Something that will not only hold the children accountable for the grades and their performance, but the parents as well. All this can be done under my leadership. Stonecrest doesn't need another candidate, another politician. It needs a leader. And that's what I plan on doing, leading Stonecrest to the next city of Zion that I plan on doing.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Frazier, how would you explain the meaning of the oath of office?
Yes. The oath of office. Ladies and gentlemen, I took that oath so many times. People say oath, my right hand goes up so quick, and I've done it so many times in the military. What that means, ladies and gentlemen, when you have an officer or somebody that takes an office, and that's the people's office. Let me say that again, the people's office. We are making a commitment to you that we are going to follow the rules. We're going to follow the laws as outlined. When you take an oath, you are promising God, too, that you're going to do what's right. Did I say that right? You're going to do what's right. Not what feels good right now, what's convenient. You're going to do what's right. And that's what I believe in. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, my name is Kirby Frazier, and I'm seeking the office of mayor of the city of Stonecrest.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Lohman, same question.
The reason that we are required to take an oath of office is because we have a representative government. And people who hold this office have a sacred duty to honor and represent the individuals who put us in that office. I've had the opportunity on multiple occasions to take that oath, most recently as a member and then chair of the Board of Elections. While I was blessed to not have to campaign for that office, it was very much public service and representative of the voters of the entire county. What that office means to me, or what that oath, means to me, is that we will act on behalf of you, the citizens in this community, that we will ensure that we understand what your will is, that we understand what your needs are, that we will ensure that we uphold the law and the policies that apply to us. For us, our Constitution is the charter. And so when we take the oath of office, we are saying, I will ensure that you have the knowledge, the information that you need in order to participate fully in your community. I will ensure that I hold myself to the highest standard and am accountable to lead in a way that is full of integrity and sets an example. That is what that means to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lohman. Mr. Turner?
Thank you very much. I am currently bound by an oath to the city of Stonecrest to uphold the Charter, Constitution of the state of Georgia, and of the United States. And that is formality. Just in general, it's a matter of knowing right from wrong and promising to yourself, to the citizen, to your family, and to God, as my brother said, that you will do what is right and fair to the people of Stonecrest. I stand by it, and I challenge anyone to show where I've done otherwise. An oath is to be taken seriously. And if you violate it, then all that you stand for comes into question. One violation questions the whole oath. And I am sincere about it. I stand by it, and I stand on it. You have to be faithful to your commitments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Ms. Wells?
Thank you. So what I understand that the oath of office means and what it would mean for me is to acknowledge and to be willing to act as a good steward. And I understand stewardship. Our charter outlines and our governing papers outline that the expectations for a public servant is to be a trustee for the general welfare of the people that you represent. And you've heard those who came before me, our mayoral candidates, speaking about this. I'm not here to serve for my own behalf. I'm not here to make myself wealthy or to make myself well known. It's not about making my name great. So if I am to take the oath of office, the point of taking that is to ensure that I acknowledge and am constantly aware that my service is for and to the people of District 4. So should you elect me to your District 4 seat, please know that you will be included in all the decision-making processes. I'm not here to make decisions for my benefit or for the benefit of those who support me. I'm here to make decisions for all of our benefit, and that can't be done without you. So oath of office for me, stewardship, trusteeship, and being entrusted with your vote and your voice. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hull, how would you explain the meaning of the oath of office?
Well, oath of office to me is when you say, I do solemnly swear to defend. So you're turning almost like your life over. You're working for the citizens. You can't be one-sided. You have to be fair to everyone. And that's not about friendship or anything like that. It's about being fair, truthful, honest. You're completely obligated to the citizens to do what's right and you've got to treat all the citizens the same. So when I say I do solemnly swear, I'm turning my life over to doing what's right for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hull. Mr. Fye?
Yes, so again, when we talk about the oath of office, it is a promise to every single constituent, whether they voted for you or whether they didn't vote for you, that you will work in the best interest of the city of Stonecrest. And we've seen that a lot of times, some of us on stage have taken oaths, whether it be in city government, county government, student government, any other place where you're making that promise. And so, as someone who wants to be elected to office, it is my promise today that if I am to take that oath, I will work in the best interest of District 2 residents to ensure that we have a transparent government, we have a safe city, and that we are making sure that we're improving the quality of life of citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. Now let's do another question here. Now that was the easy one. Now let's get to some hard ones here. This is number 2. Based on the last audit and present spending in Stonecrest, what would you like to see changed? What areas do you feel have not been budgeted, that we have not been budgeting appropriately? So Dr. Doma, I'm going to give you the first shot at that.
The fiduciary responsibility is very important for elected officials. I have worked on that budget. I have helped put those budgets together. I have screamed and yelled many times about the budget. The budget requires an individual who is fiscally sound, who understands that that is not their money, that it is our money. And so as a result of that, the budget should reflect what you want as well. And so from that budget, we have not put not one dime in the budget in 6 years for the youth, for the seniors, for dilapidated properties, for street lights, for shops and restaurants. Now, how do you want me to go on? We have not done that, but here's what we have done. We've given $1.5 million to an organization who got $313 million of their own. As of today, we don't know where it is. Accountability and responsibility. We gave $500,000 to another organization, and then we gave $500,000 for personal non-certified police officers. The budget needs to reflect what you want, and if elected your next mayor, it is going to do just that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Smith, and Mr. Smith, if you put the mic a little closer when you speak. There you go, sir.
We need to find out where the money's gone that we have right now in Stonecrest. There hasn't been an audit done, and we need to find out why the current administration won't do an audit. We have lost money that's missing. I know that we gave $75,000 to a development in Privy to invest in. All the councilmen and the mayor as well put themselves in a committee, just them alone, to vote on, to give this money, invest this money into a project led by Aaron Brahms, the same person who led the project for the soccer complex that we had the last time it flip-flopped. Same person who has the property over on Covington Highway, nothing's come out of it. It's just an eyesore to the city, and we continue to give this man money for what? To give us Seacrest? To give us Privy? We can't afford to pave our roads in our city. My community has begged for road repavement for the past year. They tell us we don't have any money for it. Where's the SPLOST money at? We need to hold our city officials accountable. We need to do an audit to find out where the money's going and to put the money where it needs to be, which is in our police, protecting our city, and our schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Frazier, same question. Based on the last audit and present spending in Stonecrest, what would you like to see changed, and what do you feel are the areas that have not been budgeted appropriately?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, based on the last audit, and I just kind of glanced at it, that I hear from the people in Stonecrest always, what are we going to do about law enforcement in Stonecrest? Ladies and gentlemen, just by a show of hands, is it problematic in Stonecrest? Do you guys think crime is an issue in Stonecrest? So why is it not in the budget? I'm hearing rumors we had 6 police cars patrolling Stonecrest. Stonecrest is the largest city in DeKalb County. So I'm just wondering, how do we cover Stonecrest? You guys, you need to answer that question. Now, the audit's going to provide a lot of things. What are we actually doing in Stonecrest? What are we going to do? I keep hearing, and I look too, and maybe it is missing the details of what are we actually doing for certain funds. Okay, maybe it's not updated. That's what I see too. Flash 1, Flash 2. It's there. We still have our roads. Maybe there's a project out there. We just don't know exactly what it is. and down the road, prosperity is coming. So we have to ask ourselves the question, Lance, where's the money?
I don't have it.
Where's the money? Show me the money. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Frazier. Ms. Lohman? And candidates, if you need me to repeat the question, just let me know. Okay, based on the last audit and present spending in Stonecrest, what would you like to see change? What are the areas you feel have not been adequately budgeted for?
So first, I'd like to see the audits up to date. I believe the last audit was completed in 2021, and so we need to update those. We also need to be conducting internal audits. Just because we can't complete the comprehensive annual financial review does not mean we cannot internally audit our operations and various funds of the city. Some of my priorities for our funds include immediately starting a grants office. Grants immediately provides return on investment. When you have individuals who are bringing in funds and have the potential to bring in millions of dollars of funds that in no way increase the burden on citizens from a tax perspective. We also need to invest in youth development. When we talk about public safety and crime, that goes hand in hand with our young people who have nothing to do in this city except to get in trouble if they don't have other things to occupy their time. We have got to invest in them. That leads me to recreation. We have, for 37 square miles, one recreation center that's right up the street and very limited programming in that recreation center. As far as overall public safety, we're already giving tens of millions of dollars to DeKalb County. We need to audit and investigate how that money is being spent and whether we are getting the appropriate return on investment for those funds, and redo the intergovernmental agreement that we have with DeKalb so that we can get the proper coverage. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lohman. Mr. Turner.
Thank you. Since I'm a sitting council member, it seems like I'm the one here defending the city. As it relates to the audit, when you make statements about what has or has not been done, you've got to be able to back it up. The audits have been published up to 21, and we should be, 22 should be ready soon, but it's not. But when it comes complete, it will be published for the public to see it from beginning to end. Now, are there things that we discover in the audits? That's why we have them, to find if there are some deficiencies. And the deficiency we found in the last one was related to what's known as the purchase cards. And we wrote procedures to fix that. And beyond that, there's nothing glaring about the audit that needs to be fixed that I can see. But again, the ones that have been completed are online, and recommendation for any changes are also published on the city's website. Everything is transparent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Ms. Wells?
Thank you so much. Interestingly, when I went to the website, on our city's website, I have a lot of difficulty finding things. It's not very well laid out. When I looked for the audits, the last one that I was able to see was the 2020 audit. Considering that we are in 2023, that should not have been the last one available. A lot of folks in our community have asked for a forensic audit. I think that is important to do. At the last candidate forum we had, I gave an illustration of a fox being in the hen house. And what does a good farmer do when a fox has entered the hen house? You make an assessment of what has been lost. And we need to make sure that we get that done. As far as what we haven't been doing with our monies, one of the things we haven't been doing is we haven't been inviting community into conversations about how to spend the money, which is astounding to me, considering we are trustees and stewards I'm talking in the future, right? I'm saying we are, like I'm already been elected. But elected officials are trustees and stewards of those funds. You should have a say in how that money is spent. If we are, or if elected officials are not accessing your insights and your input about how those funds are being spent and doing so with enough time to get as much input as possible, then we're failing. That's a failing of trusteeship and stewardship. I would also like to see more funds in our budget for our young people. I have 4 children myself. I would like to see more funds in our budget for each district. Each district representative should have funds in the budget for our district to make sure that we are serving them well. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hall, based on the last audit.
Okay. I feel like the city is not transparent to the citizens. And just like Ms. Wells has said, the citizens, there should be more town hall meetings to discuss what's going on with the city. And just like when I was the president of my homeowners association with Lions Head, I got everybody's contact information. I created a database, and I did a newsletter, and I did anyway. So anytime anything goes on in the subdivision, instantly everybody knew about it. And if there were a concern, we all knew about it at the same time. So it's not fair. I feel like it's not fair for the council to make all the decisions for all the citizens. It should be more town hall meetings, and I feel like a lot of funds should be for the seniors, for the youth, and most importantly, we have to really take economic development more seriously, because economic development is the backbone of any thriving city. Because when you produce, when these companies produce the funds from the taxes, then we're able to do a lot more for our citizens, and we can give the citizens what they want and what they need. But economic development is crucial in any city. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fye?
So I'm going to deviate from my other colleagues on the stage. Talked about something that I do like to see. So yesterday, actually, and Councilman Turner, you can correct me on this. The city actually it's actually budget season for the city, and so they had during their work session a discussion about where those budget line items are. And so something that I really saw that as a candidate, even before I declared my candidacy, fighting for an increase and actually making sure we had and started doing the work on internalizing and bringing in the public safety aspect. And on that budget line item, I saw that we actually are putting money towards a public safety liaison. And so that's stuff that's a budget line item that I'm happy to see on there, that I'm happy to see that I fought for something like that to be on there. And then making sure that, again, we're not only fully funding that line item, which again, I encourage everyone during the October 23rd meeting, you show up, talk about what you want to see on that budget, talk about where you want to see, and talk about bringing more of that phone programming and things on there. So if I were to talk about something I'd like to see changed, I'd like to see a little more money put onto not a little more money into the public safety line item, but actually talking about seeing if we can put money towards security improvements while we're waiting to transition. So seeing where we can provide grants to businesses, HOAs, to actually subsidize their security measures, whether they need to buy a camera, whether they need to purchase extra gate or something to actually help keep their community safe, as we as a city privatize that service and begin to transition that on.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to do something a little bit different this round. So you guys do have the option to do rebuttals, but the rebuttals, we'll leave them within the specific office. So the mayor candidates, if you'd like to rebut something that you hear, just raise your hand and you get 30 seconds. In each one of the council districts, you're going to be, if you want to rebut your opponent, you can raise your hand and do so that way. But that is an option for you. So let's start with the mayor candidates. Here's a question. Again, we're going to start with Dr. Adoma. This is a very good question here. What are your plans for affordable housing. I'm going to read this the way it was put out. If a builder has plans to build 100 homes in a space where infrastructure can only handle 75 homes, what would you do about that? Now, this is a zoning kind of whatever, so you guys answer the question the way you want to answer it. So that is the question.
Repeat the last part.
Okay. The first one is affordable housing. And basically, they're asking the question, if a builder wants to build 100 homes where the infrastructure can only handle 75, what would you do about that?
The first thing I'm going to do is follow the zoning laws, and that's what anybody up here should do, follow the zoning laws. We do need affordable housing. We need mixed-use development. In Georgia, 364,000 residents as of today are without adequate housing. 364,000. Rent in Georgia have went up by 33%. So we have to find a way to build more housing. We have rich green space in Stonecrest that must be protected. One of the most important one of the problems that we're having now is that the zoning laws are not being followed. That's why we have a waste management treatment plant in our backyard. That's why we got a cell phone tower, gas stations sitting where they shouldn't be, liquor stores, dollar stores. That's not what you all want. That's not what I want. And if elected your next mayor, I'm going to follow the zoning laws. And let me tell you what I learned when I was an elected official. I attended all the training for the Georgia Municipal Association. One thing I learned that none of this current council is following. Whenever there's a conflict with what you want in your community and what a developer wants, they train and teach us to go with what you want, but nobody's doing that for you. So if elected your next mayor, I am going to do that for you. I'm going to listen, and if you don't want it, I promise you, I'm not going to fight for you to get it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Smith, what are your plans for affordable housing? And if a builder plans to build 100 homes in a space that can only handle 75, what would you do about that? Put the mic up to your mouth a little bit, sir.
Whatever the zoning, just like I don't say, whatever the zoning laws were in the area, we apply by the zoning laws. We only got 75 houses that can fit in 100. If you want 100, you can only build 75 houses. Affordable housing isn't something that may be needed in our area. Some places don't necessarily need affordable housing. If we wanted to tackle on affordable housing, I would go to the renters and the people who rent the property, and I'd give them tax incentives to lower their rent. That's affordable, how you tackle affordable housing. A place like Stonecrest, we may not need a project here. We may not need project homes here. That may be something that's just not what our city is about. That's how it handles affordable housing.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Frazier?
Yes, could you read that question one more time?
Yeah, what are your plans for affordable housing? And if a builder has plans to build 100 homes in a space where the infrastructure can only handle 75, how would you handle that?
Yes, I think that's a good question. Fair example, ladies and gentlemen. If you think about what he just said just now and consider the zoning laws, we do have zoning laws that tell us what we can and cannot do. So we're trying to build, we got the green light to build 100 houses, but we want to do 75. That's how I understand it. Say this.
He has plans to build 100 houses.
He has plans to build 100, but he can only do 75. I want to make sure I understand that. It's zoned for 75. Okay, and that's the limit right there. But the question comes to, why are we building 75 affordable housing? Do we need 75 affordable housing? Now, this thing about economic development we guys keep hearing about. Okay, there's something out there called the ecosystem. When you build affordable housing, there's a reason why you build affordable housing. People need a place to live. We're not talking about low-income housing. We're talking about houses affordable that people can afford to pay for. I think that's the fair definition for it. Now, having said that, you got to make sure that we are talking about houses that people can afford to pay for. Now, how can they pay? If they can't afford it, then why do we have big affordable houses being built? That's my question. we had to ask that question, do we really need that? So that's the question I pose to you. Think about that for a moment. Affordable housing, economic development. Who are we building these houses for? We've got to ask ourselves that question. I want to ask you guys to answer that question for yourselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lohman?
So I feel that it's necessary to set a little bit of context because the mayor in the city of Stonecrest does not vote. City council members vote, the mayor only breaks ties. So one of the major responsibilities and roles of the mayor is to set policy direction for the city. We first need to identify what our collective vision is for our community, which includes housing and growth as well as our economic development. We absolutely must have affordable housing in our community, and every community must have affordable housing because we need a variety of people in our community. We cannot just have people who are well off in our community. All of us are a part of this community. And guess what? Even if you are well off in this community, if your neighbor is spending 50% of their income on housing and the rest of it on gas to get back and forth to their job, they're not going to be able to help sustain that expensive steak restaurant that you want in this community. They're not going to be able to spend money at Sprouts or Whole Foods or Costco or anything else. We absolutely must have affordable housing so that every member of this community, as I said at the beginning, has the ability to thrive. When it comes to zoning, I'm going to make it very clear collectively that we have a clear vision for what we will and will not allow in this community. And that means that we will follow the zoning laws in the community, period. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Turner?
Thank you very much. Affordable housing. And again, it's a matter of defining what is affordable. We have a lot of homeless people in the Stonecrest area. And we have a lot of ill people who may have resources but don't have the assistance that they need to get into housing. I met with a developer who wants to introduce container homes. And that doesn't mean putting container homes in every neighborhood. We'd have to find a particular zone to go with the small container homes. And if you've ever seen them, you know that they can be of really high quality at a very affordable rate. And that is one partial solution to the affordable housing. It's a crisis in some area, but it's a serious problem in Stonecrest as well. So this can be done in terms of finding the right location to create the zoning that applies to the smaller homes. Now, in terms of zoning, zoning laws are there. And oftentimes there's a request to rezone. And if the rezoning takes you outside of the character of the neighborhood, never should it go. We have zoning districts for reasons. And I support it 100% that we stick with those zoning districts. We have some going on now, but there's a request to lower the standards in a particular area. And
thank you, Mr. Turner.
We must adhere to the zoning guidelines.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Wells?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, ma'am. What are your plans for affordable housing? And if a builder has plans to build 100 homes in a space where the infrastructure can only handle 75, what would you do about that?
Okay. So, like you've heard before, we do need to offer affordable housing here in the city of Stonecrest. Our new economic development, or the draft of our economic development plan, indicated that there is a gap between what many residents can afford and what is available for purchase here. So that indicates right there, we definitely need affordable housing in Stonecrest. My plan to provide that would be hopefully to reinstate our development authority. We no longer have a development authority, and when we had one, it didn't work very well. And I think that in the meantime, but until we are able to bring that back up to online, we can work with already established entities who are doing the work and championing the efforts of developing affordable housing in the Atlanta metro area. Regarding whether or how I would respond to a developer who wanted to build 100 homes where there's 75 homes worth of infrastructure, and I'm not quite sure whether, because someone else said that was zoned for 75 as opposed to infrastructure support 75. But I do believe in standing on the zoning codes. I attended a CPIM meeting and had the opportunity to ask a developer, if you know what's happening in a community and you know what the zoning law requires, first come ready to abide by what is there. And then come, if you want something else, with a request, with humility and an understanding that you respect that community's wishes to open up a dialogue about something else. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hope?
Well, if the zoning states that 75 homes, those are all the infrastructure will sustain, then that's it. You can't do any more. But I feel like we have to be very mindful of what type of low-income housing we bring into our city, because it can only bring the value of the rest of our properties down. And as far as like those container houses, unless the owner of that complex is responsible for taking care of all the landscaping, those houses, low-income houses, will destroy the community. Now, that's just my opinion. So we just have to be very mindful of the type of products we bring into our city. It has to be good quality products. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fye?
Okay, so in terms of affordable housing, my main idea for that is in terms of letting the market do what it will. Again, when we interfere, when as a city government we're not making it easy for developers to really come in and create good housing that competes well and that will not only enhance the look of our city, but also enhance the investment that a lot of our residents have made into their homes, it hurts everybody. In terms of what I say, in terms of the 75 to 100, in terms of 100, the 75 houses into 100 houses zoned, I find myself agreeing with a lot of folks on stage. The law says what it's going to say. And I understand that a lot of developers want to also kind of get more bang for their buck, but they have to understand is our roads cannot handle anything more than what they were given. As we've seen and as we've had to put into our ARPA dollars, we are having to put millions of dollars into improvements every single year into improving our roads, a lot of our public roads, and a lot of these roads that we are just having and a lot of our state roads take time to repair. And so, again, that's a no for me, and for an affordable housing, I say let's make it easy to build in Stonecrest.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir. Sure, 30 seconds.
Yes, I just want to do one quick rebuttal, because what you heard, and I posed a question to you all about affordable housing, you get a chance to think about everything that's being said on stage tonight about affordable housing and low-income housing. Because they have to make the distinction, what are we talking about? Some people think when you say affordable housing, they're thinking about low-income housing. There's a difference. There's nothing wrong with that. You got to make things affordable for people so they can afford what they live in, so they won't be struggling. That's why I posed that question to you. I am not against affordable housing. I'm not even against low-income housing, because you can only do what you can do until you get yourself where you want to be in. But here's the thing. If it's only allocated, the structure is allocated for 75 houses, that's what should go there. You shouldn't try to go past that carrying capacity. Stick with the law says, what the zoning says.
Thank you. All right, we're going to go to the next round of questions here. Here we go. We're going to start with Dr. Adoma again. Do you endorse the ongoing efforts of Stonecrest's attorney to continue opposing Metro Green's presence in our residential area? If so, what steps would you take to guarantee the continuation of this resistance?
Ms. Renee opened up this evening, and as a part of that organization, I wholeheartedly is totally against that plant. And I don't think the city should give them a license, and if elected your next mayor, I am going to fight to make sure that we continue the great fight. Now, she's won one court case, and it's on appeal now, I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's on appeal, but now they are waiting, ladies and gentlemen, for a license. It's important for you to select the right candidate this time. If they get that license, you guys, we can kiss our city goodbye. We've been a city 6 years. $100 million have went through this city, and all we've gotten here is trash and garbage. It's time to beautify the city and make you proud and have a sign out there when you exit off of 20. We don't even know what city we live in. I was canvassing this weekend. People think they're in Lithonia. They think they're in Lithonia. I want a big old beautiful sign with beautiful landscape, waterfall that say, welcome to Stonecrest. That's the first thing I'm going to work on to make you proud, to bring your family and your guests to Stonecrest. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
I'm very against this.
You can put your mic up to your, so we can hear you. There you go. I can hear you.
I'm very against this. I'll tell you why. If they had their way, they come here and they would pollute our city. I think that we've come a long way from a lot of people not just wanting a city of Stonecrest. A lot of people didn't want a city of Stonecrest to begin with. But if you let people like this come in to our city and have their way, there will be a city of Stonecrest. There will be a city of Zion. We'd all be. We'll have to our city. So I'm definitely against it.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Frazier?
Yes, City of Zion, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, just a quick note. I think we talked about this maybe at another forum. Ladies and gentlemen, come to the environmental issue. Everybody know what the EPA is, right? Everybody know the EPA. Some people don't like the EPA, some people love the EPA. Here's the thing. When you have a company that comes into your city and you think you have concerns and you verify that you have concerns, then you should let your elected officials know, is Metro Green for Stonecrest? Now, in a former life, and I said that at some point in the past, I was the engineer for UPS and I dealt with environmental issues. I came to the territory as an engineer for UPS. People always wonder what engineers do for UPS. There's a lot that they do. Environmental is one area. There's audits, there's surveys you have to go through. You have to go to the city, you have to go to the state, follow the federal laws. Now, you can look at past projects and see what these companies done in the past and how successful they were and any failures. Now, if it's been determined by the facts, the evidence, that Metro Green is not the Stonecrest, then the evidence should be out there. If it's not out there, we got to make sure we look and see that we know exactly what we're talking about. But from consensus, it sounds like to me we don't want Metro Green. That's what it sounds like. So if the people don't want Metro Green, then I don't want Metro Green. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Lohman?
Mr. Hammonds, would you mind repeating your question?
Yes, ma'am. Do you endorse the ongoing efforts of Stonecrest's attorney to continue opposing Metro Green's presence in our residential area? If so, what steps would you take to guarantee the continuation of this resistance?
Okay. So for anybody who may not be familiar with the history, Metro Green was actually declined, the county declined to allow Metro Green to operate before Stonecrest became a city. Moments, it seems like, after Stonecrest became a city, they were given permission to start operation in our community. There was an opportunity for our city council members who served at the time to take a stand, and the mayor at the time to take a stand against that, to ensure that they were shut down. But citizens, including Ms. Kale, who is here with Chase tonight, had to take up that fight primarily on their own, our own, to oppose that, because our elected officials did not take an aggressive stand against it. That included, unfortunately, one of my opponents who was on city council at the time, who had the opportunity to sign individually, as did every other council member, to state that they were opposed to Metro Green. Now all of a sudden everybody's opposed to Metro Green. I have been opposed to it from the start and have supported Chase, helped Chase write their strategic plan, in fact, to oppose things like Metro Green and other polluting members of our community. So the steps that I would take would be to not issue them a permit or allow them to operate in the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lohman. Mr. Turner.
Thank you. Folks, misinformation. You can get your information online. This item never came before City Council for a vote. That's a fact. It should not have happened the way it happened. I do agree with that. And the city led the charge to oppose and to reject Metro Green. And we were successful at First Afrikan, and others did join in with the lawsuit. However, it went to appellate court, and currently the appeals court sided with Metro Green. We, as a city council, have already authorized legal to take it to the next level in terms of fighting that decision given by the appellate courts. Now, how long are we willing to fight? That's going to be up to the citizens. And I'm hoping we'll be successful at the next level, and it will be over. And we won't have to take it any further. But we have authorized our legal staff to take it to the next level and continue the appeal of the last decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Ms. Wells.
Okay, thank you. I'm in agreement with the city fighting to ensure that harmful industries do not proliferate in the city of Stonecrest. So am I in agreement with opposing Metro Green's development? Yes. Would I agree with not issuing them a certificate? Yes. And I would also want to and would champion efforts to ensure that our communications with citizens, when these types of industries are coming, are increased. So you should know. It should not come upon you because somebody knew. So I will ensure, as your next elected City of Stonecrest Council District 4 member, that you get that information when we get that information. That's what transparency is. That's what you deserve, and that's what it means to be a trustee of the people. Going back to that oath. So if I take that oath, then I am promising you that I will ensure that you know what I know when I know it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wells. Ms. Hull?
I ditto everything this young lady said. So whatever you guys want, then that's what it will be. So we don't want Metro Green, and we will not have Metro Green. We're not going to issue any permits. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fye?
So during the early parts of this campaign, even before we even declared ourselves, I actually sat down and had a meeting with Chase because I myself was actually ignorant to the Metro Green issue in its entirety. And so after sitting down with Chase, I made a promise to them that unless the circumstances had changed, I would be a no to Metro Green having a license in the city of Stonecrest. And I can tell you, if elected, circumstances haven't changed, I'm still a no.
Okay, we have a rebuttal. Ms. Okay, Ms. Lohman first, and then Dr. Adama.
I would just like to clarify that one, I didn't state personally that the City Council had a vote on Metro Green. City Council does have a voice and a vote and are supposed to be a check and balance in our government. There was an opportunity for our City Council to take a strong stand when realizing that Metro Green was not allowed to operate. They never should have been issued a permit to operate in the first place by the city of Stonecrest. And had the city been doing its job, Chase would not have had to hire an attorney to oppose them.
Thank you, Ms. Lohman. Dr. Adama?
Yeah, I also wanted to clarify, if you watch the case, there was a RICO charge also filed in the Metro Green case. What that means for us, it means that somewhere there was some money that exchanged hands on this, the RICO charge. So don't be led when you go to the polls this time. It's important for you to make the right choice and for you to select someone that's well informed and who understands how corruption works. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, candidates, for the questions, for answering that question. Okay, the next round of questions here. Looks like everybody's awake now. Okay, here's a good one. I like this one. The comprehensive plan identified regional shopping as a weakness in 2018. What is your plan for attracting quality regional shopping, new businesses, and restaurants to Stonecrest? How would you hold the current businesses accountable to a higher standard and better service? Okay, Dr. Adama, we're going to start with you. You first one in the circle here.
There's no doubt that everybody out there is like myself. We all want quality shops. We want quality restaurants. I'm a graduate of the Georgia Economic Development Academy. What does that mean? That means that I have worked on real projects throughout the state of Georgia. When Facebook came and all these other organizations, you guys, they zipped right past us. And do you know where they went? They went to Covington, they went to Gwinnett, they went to Newton, they went to everywhere except Stonecrest. Now we're right off of I-20. I mean, perfectly positioned for economic development. Now I've met with developers, I've worked with developers, I run my own business, so I'm working with developers all the time. I had a city in Pritchard, Alabama. They flew me down there as a consultant to write a study for them and how they can grow their city. When I left there, not only did I speak at the State of the City, but when I left there, little bitty Pritchard, all black city, tiny. They had a Starbucks. They're trying to build the Veterans Village. They're trying to do great things, all because of the study that I wrote for them, the feasibility study, where I'm saying, hey, you guys, what else did we do? We brought in federal money. I worked on their compliance committee to make sure that the CARES Act money was equally distributed fairly. How many of you knew that each household in Stonecrest could have gotten a grant for $30,000? I didn't get one. Did you get one? Then you got to vote for me.
Thank you, Doctor. Calm down, Doc. Okay, Mr. Smith?
All right, can you repeat the question, please?
Okay, the question was, the comprehensive plan identified regional shopping as a weakness in 2018. What is your plan for attracting quality regional shopping, new businesses, and restaurants to Stonecrest? How would you hold the current businesses accountable to a higher standard and better service?
Let's start with how I'm going to hold the current businesses accountable. I've already put in place a Stonecrest Excellence Committee led by QT gas stations, Publix, and Chick-fil-A. Their managers are already agreed to lead a workshop for our local businesses, anyone with a Stonecrest business license, to come into their workshop and take customer service classes to enrich the customer service experience in our area. We did a study years ago on why people do not like shopping and dining in Stonecrest. The number one reason was customer service. I plan on doing that day one. That land that you see outside of the mall that's been vacant for years, I plan on bringing a development, just like Avalon and Atlantic Station, to Stonecrest, to Zion. I'm going to sell you guys on Zion just because God gave it to me and I got to be obedient to God.
Amen.
But when we have this new development here, it's going to bring jobs. It's going to bring sports. It's going to bring recreation. It's going to bring things for our youth to do. Vote for Bernard Smith, and you'll see that be accomplished. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Frazier?
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to try to finish where he started just now, if you don't mind. I think I see what he's saying. If we would look into the future, 10 years from now, what would Stonecrest look like if we actually look at our current state or where we are today? What does that future look like? What do you want it to look like as far as economic development? Talking about bringing in businesses in Stonecrest. We have to have a plan. And economic development plans will be utilized. That's going to be the vehicle we utilize. We've got to put people in place who know what they're doing, who are subject matter experts who have done this before. Not just understand the studies, who actually have done this before in the implementation and execution of it. Now, I understand we have an economic development director we hired now. That is a good step. Now we need to understand what it is that this person is going to do. And not only that, what do you guys want? You want eateries? Let's talk about eateries. You want to bring in new industry? Why is Stonecrest a black hole? Why do people come into Stonecrest, drive through Stonecrest and go to other counties? Because we weren't ready. We weren't ready. But now, as you hear, we're getting ready. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kirby Frazier. I'm running for mayor of the city of Stonecrest. And if you want to call it Zion, let's call it Zion. My man.
Ms. Lohman?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yes, ma'am. The comprehensive plan identified regional shopping as a weakness in 2018. What is your plan for attracting quality regional shopping, new businesses and restaurants to Stonecrest? How would you hold the current businesses accountable to a higher standard and better service?
Okay. So, lot to answer in 2 minutes, but one thing that's important to note is that economic development is an ecosystem. We cannot just attract shopping or attract better restaurants, right? Everything works together. We have to have housing. We have to have housing that is affordable enough for the residents to have the disposable income to spend at this retail shopping, right? We have to have jobs in the city so that 80% of the population does not commute out of the city every single day, leaving almost nobody here to patronize those restaurants and stores. So we have to work all of those things together. And that requires leadership, right? It does require preparation in order to do that. And so we do have the beginnings, finally, of an economic development plan that we need to invest in to ensure that we're able to move forward in that regard. But one of the things that we have to have is density. I know that many people moved here because they wanted to be in a rural or suburban, quiet area. That ship somewhat sailed when the northern cities started incorporating and started capturing all of the commercial revenue in their budgets, leaving us with nothing, only residences. So that means that everybody here would have to shoulder the burden of property taxes. We are going to have to grow our population smartly, concentrated around mass transit so that it does not clog or overwhelm our infrastructure, and so that we have enough people to be able to support the shopping and dining that we want in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Turner?
I have disagreed with Ms. Lohman on a few things, but on this one, 100% correct. We have got to have density in order to attract what you want. The shops, the eateries, and all of that, they come for one reason, the numbers. If you don't have the numbers, they will not come into a losing situation. And that's what you have when you are as sparse as we are. I love living out in this rural area almost. You know, I'm on a nice lot, deer, birds, all of wildlife, close to the walking trail. But if you want that density, if you want those shops and all the other amenities, they will require that you have the numbers. I just left Henry County, and it took me 15 minutes, it seemed like, to go 3 blocks. And that used to be the country of the country. But they wanted growth. They have growth, they have density, and they're getting a lot of the shops and things that you want. But that's the price you pay, density. You are going to get traffic congestion. So I'm glad to see I-20 being expanded, and we need to work on our infrastructure to be ready to support that growth when it comes. It's coming. I just ask you to be patient.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Wells?
Mr. Hammonds, will you please repeat the question?
Yes, ma'am. The comprehensive plan identified regional shopping as a weakness in 2018. What is your plan for attracting quality regional shopping, new businesses, restaurants to Stonecrest? How would you hold the current businesses accountable to a higher standard and better service?
Thank you. Definitely wanted to hear that second part again. So, yes, Ms. Lohman's response to this question was spot on. And we haven't seen yet the type of development that we want largely because we haven't been having conversations. So just when you heard Ms. Lohman say that, how many of you have heard that type of clarity from the city communicated with you? Okay. So that's where we need to start, clarifying a vision of what the expectations will be and how we're going to get it. We've not been getting that. And I've had conversations with the last 2 economic development directors here, when Jonathan was here and also when Mr. William Smith was here, talking to them about what it would look like and what it would take to bring the type of development to elevate our standing, right, so to speak. And it's not that we're not capable of it, but it's just that we haven't had the chance to do that. As far as how I would hold accountable the currently existing businesses, I think we do that through partnership. There's a lot of contention between community and business owners, community and developers, and it's unnecessary. What we haven't been getting from the city and what the city should and will do if I'm elected is to broker those conversations between them so we can find common ground. They have something we need, y'all, but we have something they want as well. Thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Hall?
Density is crucial. Economic development is crucial. But the businesses that's already here, we're not getting the support from the citizens. So they say, well, the service is not good. But if you don't put your money in your city where you live, we can't afford to. First of all, I would set up a training, just like Bernard was saying, to train everybody in customer service, to show them what they need to do to attract customers. But unless we can take care of what we already have, nobody in their right mind is going to come to Stonecrest. We have got to take care of our own, and we have got to, and with me being a business owner, I know how to do this. But I will use my experience to deal with a lot of the people in the industry to get people here. But I will bring us together, and we can't make this work unless we work together. And we have got to take care of what we already have in order to get new businesses to come into Stonecrest. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fye?
Mr. Hammond, could you repeat the question?
Yes, sir. The comprehensive plan identified regional shopping as a weakness in 2018. What is your plan for attracting quality regional shopping, new businesses, and restaurants to Stonecrest? Go ahead.
Oh, I'm so sorry. And so Ms. Hull is absolutely right. When it comes down to increasing the buying power of Stonecrest, you have to take care of the Stonecrest businesses that are here. That means supporting them with your dollar and also in safety. Again, how many District 3 residents and District 2 residents are in this room? Only a couple? Okay. Well, again, off Barrington Road, if you live near District 3, the Walmart over there just cut their hours to 9 o'clock to end over there, where we normally end around 11 o'clock. The two reasons they cited was because of employment and not having enough staff and loss prevention. Businesses can't support or grow in the city if we are consistently dealing with an unsafe environment. In District 3, which is less than a mile from District 2, a teenager was murdered in an IHOP. Again, when you look up news items like that and not having that increase public safety, it prevents us from being able to attract these businesses, and so that way, even if we have the infrastructure and built, like many of the people on the stage have been saying, businesses are not going to come where they're going to see loss of inventory. They're not going to want to pay the insurance to have to protect their inventory and their employees. So one of the things I really want to do is actually get control of the property crime that is happening in our city that is affecting both our businesses and residents. So while we're building up that great city, we can protect the businesses who want to come here.
Thank you. I don't know if you guys picked up on it, but the last two questions, there were kind of not a conflict, but one brought up density, 100 to 75, and then this last round, we said we need more density. So I'm sure you guys will work that out once you get elected. Okay, I just had to point that out. It just jumped out at me. Okay, here's I guess this could be an easy one, but it's a very important one. How do we, communication, community engagement. How do we get more people engaged in this government that we call Stonecrest? And it's across the board in DeKalb County. So could you outline your communication strategy, including forums, town halls, other means of engagement for the residents of Stonecrest or your district? How would you plan to effectively disseminate information about proposed developments? We just talked about communication. How are you going to communicate the information that people need to get here in the city of Stonecrest that will engage them in the government that you guys are vying to run? So Dr. Adama, you want to take the first shot at that?
Communication is very important. As most of you know, I currently run and manage a successful communications firm. One of the things that I find that everybody wants to know is, where is my money? One of the things I would do is similar to what I've done in a couple of other states. I would set up a website where you would have a username and a password, and you will be able to log in and go in and see expenditures and revenues, what came in, what went out. You don't need an open records request on my watch. If you want to see what's happening with your government, I'm going to give it to you. Accountability and transparency comes through sharing of information. When I served on the council, I was the first one to launch town halls, to do newsletters, even up until just recently when other members are now doing newsletters. I had coffee with a cop. I fed the policemen on Christmas Day. I made sure that I was very transparent and accountable, and that I responded in District 5 to every single resident that contacted me. People just want to know what's happening in the city. I'm going to respect you. If you want to engage people and get them involved, you can't set up on the dais and when they comment on something that you don't like, constructive criticism, you get up and leave the dais. Nobody in here should vote for anyone who will do that to you. As your next mayor, I will listen to you. I will respect you. You won't have to ask me for information because I'm going to give it to you more than what you even want. Thank you.
Mr. Smith?
Communication is going to be key in my administration. One of the things that I plan on doing is having a newsletter for every citizen of Stonecrest to receive this newsletter. Now, you have to sign up for this newsletter. You can't just send it to you without you signing up for it. But if you go to the city website and you sign up for this newsletter, we'll send out, it'll be a quarterly newsletter to let you know exactly what's going on in the city of Stonecrest. One of the key components to the organization that I work with called the Wiseman Group, we have this program called, it's a platform called The Bridge. It's coming out next year. The Bridge is a database of every church in the nation, in every city in the nation. And every church is the bridge that connects the church with the communities they serve. So every church will be able to broadcast what is going on in that church for that month or for that week, and they'll be able to contact you to let you know what's going on in your local city. It operates very much like Facebook, but it's for the church, it's for the community. Stonecrest will be very tightly wound into this because every city in the nation will be wound into this. I'll talk about that more in my forum, which will be in 2 weeks. You can see it on my website, smithformayor.com. I invite all of you guys to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Kirby, communication and engagement.
Yes. Lance, I think I understood the question. I'm going to try to keep it down.
Sure.
Keep it simple as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, you want communication passed on to you. I got to ask the question, what's the best way to communicate with you? She said text message. Anybody else? What's that? Say it louder. Telephone. You want the audio, the electronic? And the reason I did that, ladies and gentlemen, see how I asked you the question? I didn't try to figure it out for you. I asked you the question, what is it you want? And that's what I hear. When I hear that, that's what I try to get back to you. We can do we can do town hall meetings. We can do focus groups. We can even come to the house of God and sit down and talk about issues. What if your city councilman of your district come to the local church along with the mayor and sit down, take that chair, sit on the floor, and talk to you face to face about issues? Now, we're just not going to talk about issues. We're going to ask about problems, solutions, right? That's how we solve problems. You think that's what you guys want to hear. This is what you want. If I'm wrong, then tell me. I think that's a method we can use. Now, we can go ahead and start automating things, doing newsletters. We can go out and start doing text messages. But we have to start somewhere very simple, then grow it. But I won't do anything without recommendations from you, the people. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Lohman, communication and engagement.
So I could talk about this topic for an hour a day. I have, in my local government career, hired and or directly supervised 4 communication directors in 3 different states for 2 county governments and a city government. Well, 5 if you count the Board of Elections. And one of the things about communication is that it should be clear, it should be two-way, it should be predictable, and it should be varied. Everybody does not receive communication in the same way. They don't like the same modes and methods of communication. When it is predictable, we train people to look out for it, right? If you know that every whatever at this time you're going to get this newsletter, or you're going to get a direct mailer, or you're going to get whatever, then you start to expect that. One of the other things that we've got to do is ensure that we have the right personnel in place to lead our communications. At present, we have a communications director who does not live in the state of Georgia, who lives in another state as an elected official in another state, and is currently running for office in that state, and comes to the city of Stonecrest 2 days a week. So we have to have people who actually work here on a consistent basis to communicate, because we are not receiving communication right now at all as a community. As far as citizen engagement goes, I'd love to talk in more detail about that. There are a wide variety of ways that we can engage you around the budget, around economic development, around public safety, around youth development, and a wide variety of topics that you are interested in. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Long. Mr. Turner, same question.
Thank you. COVID changed a lot of things for us in terms of face-to-face meetings. And we think it's safe to come back out now with some of the town halls. I just did one 2 weeks ago, and we're hoping to do more. But my real focus is on having a consistent location to go and get information on a regular basis. And with that for the city is the city's website. And in order to make it work, it's got to be updated on a regular basis and be reliable. And I believe we are getting there, and I invite you to go to the city's website for any information you're looking for. If you cannot find it there, call your council member, because I believe that is going to be the source of your best communication about what's happening in the city. So I stand by that. And the second part of the question was?
Engagement.
Engagement.
The citizens.
We have established a citizen academy for the city. And that will give citizens who are interested in learning how the city functions to actually participate in some academic training on what goes on in various departments for the city of Stonecrest, and provide opportunity for them to participate on boards, commissions, and committees. And you learn by participation. So I invite you to join those, to sign up for the academy at the next, the next session, and that's going to be probably the first of the year.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Ms. Wells, communication and engagement.
Communication and engagement. Okay, so this is my favorite topic. Some people know that I was most recently the president of the Stonecrest Citizens Coalition. Some of you will have seen me at city council meetings asking repeatedly that two things happen. One, that public comments are added to every agenda. Can it happen? Yes. So if you've ever believed that it can't happen, as for some reason there's some legislation that means you cannot have public comments on that doesn't exist. So public comments can be on every city council public meeting agenda, and they should be there. Next, we should not be limited to 2 minutes. It's hard to do. You see us fumbling up here. We are all missing the mark, right? But thank you. So we need more than 2 minutes to get our point across, and considering that we are the people whose voices and opinions most matter in city government, we definitely need to have more time than that. So it's great that the city has a website. No, we can't push everybody to that website right now. We've already talked about that it's not regularly updated. Doesn't make sense that that should be the only way. We've got to have lots of different ways to communicate it. Just when Mr. Kirby asked, two people said two different things. So we've got to use all of the methods at our disposal to make sure that we're communicating with you. As a District 4 resident, we haven't had a town hall since the one that happened 2 weeks ago, since 2019. And so that shouldn't happen. I am a consultant. When the pandemic happened, I took my meetings virtual. And we met with people all over the state of Georgia virtually. So it can happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hull, just before you start, we have a quick rebuttal. Mr. Turner, 30 seconds.
No, just to mention that 2019, I think, was a little bit stretched for the last one we've had. We've had virtual town hall meetings in between during the pandemic and District 4, yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Rebuttal.
No, it don't work that way.
I would ask that you provide that.
Pass the mic.
Proof of that.
Pass the mic. Okay, Ms. Hall, communication and engagement.
Okay. I promise if I am your next city councilwoman, everyone in District 2 will know who I am. Because I know if you ask most people who is your council for District 2, you probably do not know. But I will have a website, but most importantly, I want everybody's contact information, because I want to set up a database for everybody. So, and I want to hear your concerns. Whatever's on your mind, I want to know, and I want you to listen. So if we do it together, out there is a solution to all of your concerns. And I will do a town hall virtually, in person, but we will stay connected, and that is a promise. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fye?
So one of the great things about having a young person on council is being able to come up with fresh and new ways to actually engage with our citizens. And so like Ms. Hull said, yes, our campaign actually was the first one to put out a plan on how we're going to re-engage District 2 residents. We already talked about the general stuff, town halls, mailers, and things of that, and website upgrades. But one of the things that I didn't hear, that we've actually put into practice since early August, is actually door knocking. And so again, we're talking to a lot of these resources, and a lot of problems that we face with a lot of giving the citizens information is, you guys just don't have time to look up that kind of stuff. But when you have somebody like your city councilman knocking on your door, making sure that you're talking to that person about the issues, things that are happening, and making sure that we did that. And we've actually implemented that in our campaign. Just today, I am proud to announce that we knocked on our 1,000th District 2 door to be able to talk to them about the issues and make sure that they knew about that an election was happening. And we've made sure to check out how much of them actually knew about their city councilman. And it turns out 80.2% of District 2 residents actually no, that was updated today. 81.5 residents in District 2 don't know who their city councilman is, even though they're getting all the newsletters, the websites, and everything. So taking that door-to-door, boots-on-the-ground approach to make sure that we're reaching out and talking to these residents, it's super important. Again, we want to make sure that we're implementing virtual town halls, office hours, things of that nature, to make sure that we're getting involved and talking to our residents.
Thank you, sir. Okay, here we go. We're going to make sure that you guys are still awake out there. We're going to allow you to ask a couple of questions. And so raise your hand, and it's got to be a question. If you get into a comments or a speech, we're going to cut you off. I think I saw Ms. Cofield's hand first. And the way we'll handle this, we'll let the panel take the question, and anybody else who else wants to respond can do so. Ms. Cofield? Hold the mic up a little bit.
Each of you has talked about high density, okay? And the problem we have in Stonecrest is that the apartments that are coming in now are low-income apartments. Now, when you go down I-20 towards the city of Atlanta, you see modern apartment buildings with elevators inside, everything is inside, and the rent in those apartments is just a little bit more than what people are paying here. So what are you going to do to bring quality, high density here? That's number one. And number two, south of I-20, why can't you look at developing smaller lot, single family residences for sale? We never hear about this affordable issue on the west side, on the north side. And by the way, if crime was a factor, there would be no development in Buckhead.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Fye, then Ms. Lohman, and the question I heard was quality high density in Stonecrest.
So, Ms. Cofield, as a renter in the city of Stonecrest, I can tell you that, again, I have friends who rent in Atlanta. Atlanta is expensive. It is expensive as heck. The rent for the same one-bedroom apartment that I pay for right now, that's $1,300, goes for $2,200 up in Atlanta. So again, when we talk about developing and talk about adding in, kind of these low-income kind of apartments that that we're talking about, sometimes we run into the issue of they're just not the best quality nor fit the look of Stonecrest. And in addition, that brings a whole lot of people, and we bring a whole lot of people into a contained space. You are just asking for crime. Buckhead has a police force. Buckhead also has billionaires living in that area who couldn't afford those high private gates, high rises, things like that. I drive by it every day because I work out there. And so again, there's a significant difference in, again, adding that into Stonecrest. Now we can try to work towards making sure that our housing and our units and the places that we have for people to live are affordable when we're adding in options. But again, in terms of like making sure that we can do that, we have to recognize that Stonecrest is a unique city. It is not like the northern cities. It is not like Buckhead. We should not compare it to it.
Okay. Ms. Lohman, and let's keep the answers down to a minute, okay?
So I think maybe the short answer that I would say to Ms. Cofield is that we have to be proactive, which we have not thus far been as a city. I've had the opportunity to engage not just during this campaign, but prior to this, with a variety of developers and individuals who are yearning to work in the city of Stonecrest, and they get no cooperation, outreach from our current leadership. And so when we sit down with them and say, this is what we want and need in our community, they will provide that. But if we are silent and we don't return their phone calls or emails or anything else, then they bring what they bring, and whatever that is. I think that there are a wide range as well of tools that can help to maintain affordability, including community land trusts, including working with developers who focus on that, not just low-income housing. But we also need to do an assessment of all of the available property in Stonecrest so that we can make a plan for where we want to concentrate that density and where we have the opportunity to have larger single-family homes.
Thank you. Next question.
My question is to everyone on this board. I've listened to this. I've been out here since '84. And before this was even considered Stonecrest or anybody thought about Stonecrest, because it took them 18 years to develop the Stonecrest Mall for us. There were stores that were coming in here that we would be more than happy to shop at. As a matter of fact, I've been shopping at Dillard's in Phoenix, Arizona for years. I was so happy to see that store come in here. But they did not bring the quality that they put in those stores in our stores. So I listened to everyone try to say, well, we're not supporting the stores. We're not supporting those stores because we don't deserve to have the products. I shop in Dillard's every now and then now. There are clothes in there that are 10 years old that they are bringing in. We can't even go buy a dress for New Year's to look nice in because it's going to be a dress that came from a Dillard's that they tried to sell 10 years ago. And now they're selling it to us for 2 times the price, but they want to complain that we're not supporting the mall. No, we are not supporting the mall because you guys, all of you, are not forcing these businesses to give us what we want, what we need.
So the question thank you.
The zip code thing is outrageous.
So the question
You are zip code, so you don't bring us any products that we want to buy. I love this community. Like I said, I was one of the first people. Nobody has improved Salem Road or Panola Road. When I moved out here, it was the same.
Okay.
So my question is,
Thank you.
is the panel going to do anything to hold these corporations responsible for the lack of business that they're getting?
Accountability and quality of products. Ms. Lohman, you want to take that first, and then Ms. Wells? Go ahead.
Thank you for your question, and I actually did want to speak to that. We were trying to cram a lot into the couple minutes that we have to answer, but it is a great question, and I addressed that actually in a previous forum about not having the comparable quality of products in the stores. If you travel anywhere else and you look at a Publix or a Walmart or any mall, and it is not comparable between Stonecrest and other areas. And again, I think that comes back to being proactive. There are a number of things that we can do to make the market more competitive here, number one, so that the market has the opportunity to remove any I can't think of the name, you know what I'm trying to say, any businesses, retailers who are not offering us comparable products. But we have to, as leadership, be proactive in having conversations with those individuals and telling them what our expectations are. And we can bring data and proof to them to say, why is it that when I walk into the store, I can find organic items and I can't find that in my own community? Why is it that your Kroger is nice and beautiful here and we have falling apart, trashy stores? Why is it that the Food Depot in Conyers looks beautiful and we have a parking lot with more craters than the surface of the moon? We can do that as leaders.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Guys, due to time constraints, we're going to have to go to closing, I'm sorry, Malika, you answer, and then we're going to go to closing comments, closing remarks. No, you answered, did you want to answer the question about quality? I saw your hand go up.
Yeah, I just wanted to answer.
We don't have time, just one
To
second.
share with the woman, and thank you, yes, thank you for your comment. I wish we had more time, and I hope that we will have some time with you after this to talk, and we'll exchange information. But Ms. Lohman is absolutely right. We are seeing a significant lack of communication between our elected officials, our administration there in city government, and the landowners, the business owners, the developers, that we're not making inroads. We are supposed to be your conduit of communication between what your expectations are. We are supposed to be the ones who are communicating that to the developers, to the business owners. One of my plans for District 4, and I've already spoken with the business owners in that development at Food Depot, is to see significant redevelopment there. I said, okay, we don't have a Whole Foods, but we do have a Food Depot. If we want them to be a better neighbor, let's show them and tell them what it looks like and what we mean when we want them to be a better neighbor, and help them to do that. There is money available for doing that, y'all, and we will find it and get that done.
Thank you, thank you. So now we're going to go to closing comments, and then we'll close out our program. But I want to thank everybody for being patient. Dr. Odama, closing remarks, closing comments, you have 2 minutes. 2 minutes. And we'll take back any time you want to give us. Diane? Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Stonecrest residents, voters, and citizens. Again, I'm Diana Doma, and I'd like to be your next mayor. Now, many of us in the mayoral race are telling you about what they're going to do, but I can tell you and show you what I have already done with economic development. I can show you a survey of the Stonecrest business owners here, who I can assure you that there is absolutely no relationship between the city and the businesses here. And that is part of why we're not getting, as she said, the quality products and services that we deserve, because you don't have a mayor and a council who is championing that. The role of the mayor is to be an ambassador for the city. Yeah, they don't vote, but they're the ones that go out and bring in economic development. I'm working on huge projects now. The largest project that GDOT has awarded to DeKalb County, working in communications and public engagement. And one of the things that I can tell you, we didn't have anyone at the table in 2019 and 20. You know what we could have gotten? A big old beautiful sign on the bridge. We're redoing all those bridges, like the flyover, like you see at Spaghetti Junction. There was not one elected official at the table. I don't care what people tell you. On November 7th, you have a choice. You have a lot of candidates in the mayoral race, but only one of us can lead you. And it's important for you to realize that we're at a crossroads. You have to choose the right candidate. I'm the only one who have the business experience, who have ran businesses that are still standing right now worth $14 million, and running my other 2 businesses in Stonecrest. So I don't want your money. I want your engagement to help me build this city. Vote for Diane Adoma on November 7th, and on November 8th, we'll have a town hall, and we'll talk about what you want. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Smith, 2 minutes.
I'd like to address the last question that was answered before I get into my closing. Why are we not getting the quality that we deserve here in Stonecrest? It's because the city has a stench on it. Nobody takes it seriously. If we change the name of our city to Zion, and we start this city brand new. Now, some of you guys may laugh, you may think it's wonderful. That's fine. But I'm doing what God tells me to do. And that's what he's told me to do with the city. You want to be taken seriously? You got to take your city seriously. Nobody's going to, they look at Jason Larry and what he did to us. They look at Jasmine Cobble and what she's doing to us. And they laugh. You go on the other side of town, nobody takes you serious. They don't. And they're not going to. Until you give them a reason to. There's a reason you don't see Bernard Smith signs sitting outside of Stonecrest for you guys to vote for me. Because it's trash. You go to the other side of the city, you don't see that. They pick them up as soon as they put them down because they don't allow that in their community. I think that's garbage. So you're not going to see that from Bernard Smith because I invest in my city. What I'm giving you is exactly what you're going to get when you elect me mayor. You can get somebody who takes this city seriously. You're going to take somebody who believes in the city enough to bring an Avalon or an Atlantic Station to the city. People to believe in it. You believe they'll do it? They already bought the land. The only reason this hasn't been done is because Jasmine Cobble won't take their meetings. The land's been bought already. They're willing to do this in our city, right now. You guys come to mayor you can believe in. I'm more than mayor I'm leaving. I'll leave you guys to greatness. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Frazier, 2 minutes.
Yes. Well, good evening, citizens Stonecrest. It's been a long evening. We want to thank you guys for sitting out, taking time out of your busy schedule to listen to us talk. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm seeking the office of mayor for the city of Stonecrest. There's a reason why I stepped up. I want you guys to be clear about this. I sat in the city now, it's about 6 years. I've seen the pros, I've heard the pros and cons. I've seen what's been problematic in the city. One thing about me, I understand people. I hear people and I listen to people. I can sit up here and tell you all day long. I have a BS in electrical engineering. I have a master's in administration. All that's great. If you have those things, what are you going to do? I'm here to put that to work for you. I want to take some of that military experience too and show you how I can lead. A lot of Army buddies might ask me to go ahead and throw my name in the hat one more time because they said they didn't know you were here. Now, once they get to know you, they're going to realize you're a leader of your word. If there's things you want done in this city, and we can talk about all the things in the world, if there's things that you want done in this city, all you have to do is tell me. We'll sit down and we'll formulate a plan. Now, I'll be the one to tell you, first of all, if it's something that's unrealistic, ladies and gentlemen, it's realistic, and I'll tell you why it's unrealistic. What's our second guess? What's our second choice? We'll come up with that second choice together. That's what type of leader I am. I'm not going to sit here and take you down the road and give you those dreams that people, the pipe dreams. We're going to be realistic about what we're going to try to do here. And what you can hear here is economic development, affordable housing, and restoring the trust. Restoring the trust. If people don't trust you, then we've already lost the battle, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you want a leader you can trust? Now, I want you to be a part of the city no matter who is the mayor at this next election. It's November 7th. Okay? If you voted for them, support them. Now, if you vote for me, hey, thank you so much, because I'm going to give you 110%. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Lohman, your 2 minutes.
I would first like to thank First Afrikan Church, the Stonecrest Citizens Coalition, and the Citizens for a Healthy and Safe Environment for hosting this event this evening. Thank you so much. I sat and thought as my colleagues were speaking of what I wanted to leave you all with. And I opened with asking for you to put in charge for the first time in our existence an expert. Somebody who already knows what it looks like to have a well-run city, who didn't have to go out and take a class to learn it because I've been doing it for 20 years. Somebody who has already been doing the work in the community as an activist, as a leader, as a servant in this community. My tagline is leading with vision and serving with heart for a reason, because we have heard from you all, not just tonight, but for years prior to this, what you want to see in this community. Sometimes it's why don't we have a Costco, why don't we have a Whole Foods, but we can hear when we're really listening what the deeper desire is for this community. It's the same thing that I want for my 11-year-old daughter, who's a 6th grader over at Salem. I want her to grow up in a safe community where we know our neighbors know us, where people want to come here and visit, where when my parents come visit to see my daughter, they don't come to see me anymore, that they have a nice hotel to stay in the city of Stonecrest, that they have nice restaurants to eat at in the city of Stonecrest, that we have schools that are of high quality, that I'm not looking for school choice options at the beginning of every school year, because every single school is well run and meets the needs of our children. We all want that. So I'm asking that you elect this time somebody who already has been doing that for her entire career. After we get our city government stabilized and after we start seeing some significant improvements in quality of life, then we can go and elect a photo op mayor if that's what we want. But where we are in our current evolution as a community, we need somebody who is knowledgeable and professional, who is ready to do the work to create a cohesive and thriving community. And I hope I can gain your vote to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lohman. Mr. Turner, your 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. Again, I feel like I'm here to defend the city, but I'm not. The city stands on its own record. I'm here to defend my record. And I think if you look at what we have accomplished over the last few years in this baby city, you will be amazed at how we've gone from being run by a consultant group to standing up our own city with our own employees, achieving great objectives as it relates to our plans for the city of Stonecrest. And again, politicians tell you what you want to hear to get elected, but I ask you to check for yourselves. Check the facts and make sure you're operating off of the facts. This city has a great opportunity, but it's going to take some time for us to get to where we need to get to, and you can be a part of it. Or you can criticize it and tear it down. You make the choice. We have a good team in place, and I'm one member of that team from District 4. I want to continue for at least another 4 years to serve you in that capacity as your District 4 council member, and maybe continue as Mayor Pro Tem to set an agenda that helps to achieve those things that we know we can do in Stonecrest with your help. But don't expect us to wave a magic wand and it happens overnight. I know I might be shooting myself in the foot by saying that, but being realistic, know that it's going to take time to get there, folks. We are on the right path. Don't just come out for this forum. Stick with us in the council meetings. Follow up on the website. Talk to those who are in the know with what's happening in Stonecrest. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Ms. Wells, your 2 minutes.
Thank you. So I want to tell you that we are at a crossroads right now, and we have an incredible opportunity in front of us. I feel a really great sense of urgency. As a resident first, I've been wanting some things, and I haven't seen them over the last 6 years. One of the things that I heard in the last election was this message of continuity. And I remember scratching my head thinking, continuing what? What are we continuing? And over the course of these last few years, I have, as a resident, not been pleased with the continuation of what I've seen, which is one of the reasons why I chose this year to run for elected office. Because I wanted to be heard and I wanted to be represented. I wanted to feel like I was partnering with my elected representative to do something incredible for the people of this city. So I want you all, and it's evidence, your being here is evidence of your intent, that you understand the urgency of the now, and that we have an opportunity before us to change the trajectory of what we've been seeing. So you have really important decisions to make when you go to the polls starting Monday, because early voting starts on Monday, and Election Day is on November 7th. A vote for me means that you are ready to see more in District 4. Yes, I am going to collaborate and partner with every member of council and whoever you decide to be mayor for the good of the whole entire city of Stonecrest, but in doing so, I will prioritize the needs of District 4. First and foremost, what I hear when I'm talking to District 4 constituents is that they don't feel represented, they don't feel heard, and they don't feel that their issues are being prioritized. And I agree, because I've been one of you, having those same issues. We're going to have real representation if you vote for me. You will really have a seat at the table. You will be invited into the decision-making processes in a way that we have not experienced before. I'm asking you for the opportunity to serve you for the next 4 years. And know that you'll have ample opportunities to review and critique my service, and I'll be listening. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hull, 2 minutes.
Okay. I decided to run for Stonecrest City Council because this young city is at a critical tipping point with a lot at stake. And the only way we can make it right is to work together. I have lived in Stonecrest the majority of my life. I am a small business owner and a successful entrepreneur. I am a community leader, and I have been involved in my community for years and years, trying to make things better. So I want to take Stonecrest, and I want to sit at the table to help mold this city into the type of city I know it can be. I want to help make this city be what it was designed to do, and that was to succeed. And with the new administration, I know we can make this city be the type of city that you can be proud to call home. Thank you. Please vote for me November the 7th.
Thank you. Mr. Fye?
All of my firsts are in Stonecrest. My family who lives in Stonecrest, my dad bought my first suit at Evolve over at Stonecrest Mall. My mom bought my first car. It was a Nissan Altima 2005 on Hillendale Road. We put the key in that thing and it did not turn over. She bought it for $500. We should have known something was wrong. I say that all to say that I am not Stonecrest born, but I am Stonecrest raised. And I, like many other people in this room, on the stage and in the audience, have no choice but to see it succeed. We have fought for, we have to make sure that, again, we are doing these 3 things that District 2 residents have been asking for and have been asking us since we started hitting the ground and made over made over 1,000 knocks, have been asking us for these last 3 things. Making sure that we're bringing back that faith and integrity into Stonecrest. Getting that door-to-door, boots on the ground, reinvestment in our residents to learn about their issues, talk to them, and invest them into the city. 2, that we are taking on the crime that has invaded our city from out-of-city residents, out-of-city folks who don't believe in this city and want to prey on us like they're some vultures. And 3, making sure that, again, we're fighting for improving quality of life. I want to do all these things as your District 2 councilman, and I'm dedicated to making sure that happens. Because like many of you, I want to see faith restored in Stonecrest. So again, on November 7th, even if you don't have a reason to get out, even if you're not in my district, vote. Vote early voting on October 16th. Vote at the old Sam's Club, but vote, vote, vote. Because we have to, above all else, restore faith in Stonecrest. Thank you all so much for your time, and I hope you guys have a blessed night.
Thank you. Thank you. that concludes our questioning round, but I want you guys to just give these candidates a round of applause. It takes a lot of courage to run for elected office. It takes a lot of courage. I know that because I've done it before. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for staying. We have closing comments, and then we'll get you out of here. But candidates, thank you for your time and your patience. And Ms. Dana will take us out.
Greetings. Each person here is not only a resident of this city, but you are a neighbor. Neighbors don't just see after themselves, but they see after each other. It is our privilege as neighbors to serve not just ourselves and our own interests, but the person next to us. Whoever is elected or re-elected in November, it is our responsibility to find a way, find a space, and find time to serve and support Stonecrest. If we can serve and support in spite of how we feel, I am sure that we will find ourselves being better neighbors in our community and better residents of our city. Thank you to First Afrikan for allowing us to use your facility. Thank you to First Afrikan Action Team, Citizens for a Healthy and Safe Environment, Stonecrest Citizens Coalition for partnering together to facilitate this general election forum. Thank you to the candidates for your passion and recognizing a need to serve in your local government with your education, background, gifts, talent, and skills. And lastly, thank you to our neighbors of Stonecrest. Your presence lets us know that you have the city's best interests at heart. And now, let us go before the Lord in prayer. Dear Lord, our God, our Creator of heaven and earth, collectively, we thank you for giving us life. We stand in prayer for the city of Stonecrest. We pray that each of us will be good and worthy stewards of our time in Stonecrest. Let us do what we desire in our city. Let us be willing to serve and support not just one individual, but one vision. Give us traveling grace and mercies as we return home into our respective places. In the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, amen. Goodbye, everyone.